might have people joining a little bit later, but it's fine. Like they'll just come. We can start because they are on YouTube as well. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, well, welcome. As some of you may not know me, my name is Renee Roberts. I'm a functional nutrition and health coach. And I'm going to talk a little bit about sleep and why it's important and what happens when we sleep. And then I'll get into certain habits that you can do to promote a better quality sleep. And so what I'm going to do is first, I want to get a little bit sciencey, so you'll have to, apologize in advance because this is I really like to
This is
geek out
great.
about these subjects.
Yes.
So anyway, so I'm just curious, do you guys feel you get a good night's sleep, or do you feel you can get, do better in this area? I've noticed that people are having trouble sleeping. What do you
For
think?
sure, for sure. I mean, we can do so much better because sometimes, even if I get to bed early and everything, but still I mean, I'm tired and I didn't have a good night's sleep quality. Yeah, that
Yeah.
way.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm going to hopefully be able to address some of that for you. So first, let me talk about why sleep is so important. Um, it may seem like we don't actually do much when we're sleeping, but our bodies undergo a series of changes that's vital to our overall health. So our bodies physically restore and repair, our brains clear out toxins, information is processed and memorized, our immune system is strengthened, and our moods are restored. Okay, so what I want to talk a little bit about is what happens when we sleep. So for me to do that, I want to talk a little bit about sleep cycles. So I'm going to get a little sciencey here. So in a normal sleep period, a person experiences 4 to 6 sleep cycles. And within each sleep cycles, there are 4 stages of sleep. And I'm wondering, do you guys know if the 4 stages or any of the stages? Could you guess?
I think I just know this one stage is the REM stage. I think the rapid eye
Yes.
movement. I just know that one. I didn't know
Yes.
like the four stages though. Amazing, good to know.
Okay. Yeah. So there are 4 stages. There is REM is part of them. Deep is another stage. Light sleep is another stage. And then there's another one. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through each stage. And then, because that will help me explain why some of these habits work. So in stage 1, it's also called N1 sleep. And this is called our dozing off stage. And it typically lasts between 1 to 5 minutes. And it's where our bodies haven't fully relaxed. And our body and brain activities start to slow down with periods of brief movements or twitches. So I don't know if you've experienced that where you've like started falling asleep and then you wake up real quick. That's normal in this stage. You're probably in stage 1. There are light changes in brain activity, and it's really easy to wake someone up during this stage. However, if a person doesn't get woken up, they basically quickly move into stage 2. So as the night unfolds, an uninterrupted sleeper may not spend much more time in stage 1. And that's probably why people don't really know about N1 because it doesn't really, we don't spend much time in it. So then there's stage 2, which is also called N2 or light sleep. So this is where the body enters a more subdued state. Our body temperature drops, our muscles relax, and our heart rate and breathing slow down. And our brain waves show a new pattern, and eye movement stops. And brain activity slows, but there are short bursts of activity that help us resist being woken up by external stimuli. So this stage can last for about 10 to 25 minutes during the first sleep cycle. And then each N2 stage can become longer during the night. So collectively, a person spends about half their sleep in this stage, in light sleep. So then there's stage 3 or N3, which is also known as deep sleep. So it's harder to wake someone up in this stage. Our muscle tone, pulse, and breathing rate decrease as the body relaxes even further. And experts believe that this stage is critical to restorative sleep, allowing for bodily recovery and growth, and it may bolster our immune system and other key bodily processes. So even though brain activity is reduced, there is evidence that deep sleep contributes to insightful thinking, creativity, and memory. So we spend most time in deep sleep during the first half of the night. And during the early sleep cycles, this stage will last for about 20 to 40 minutes. But as you continue sleeping, these stages get shorter and more time gets spent in stage 4, which is REM sleep. So during REM, our metabolism drops by around 15%. Our brain activity picks up, nearing levels seen when we're awake. And our bodies experience atonia, which is a temporary paralysis of our muscles, with two exceptions, our eyes and the muscles that control breathing. So REM sleep is believed to be essential to cognitive functions like memory, learning, and creativity. And REM is also known for the most vivid dreams, which is explained by the significant uptick in brain activity. So dreams can occur in any stage, but they're less common and intense in the other stages. So under normal circumstances, you don't really enter REM sleep until you've been asleep for about 90 minutes. But as the night goes on, REM stages get longer, especially the second half of the night. So while the first REM stage may only last a few minutes, later stages can last for around an hour. So in total, this stage makes up around 25% of sleep in most adults. Okay, so that's sleep cycles. Do you have any questions?
So I just wanted to know, like you just said about the REM cycle stages. So is like, does even like REM like have another like stage in it or something? Or is it, I was just a little confused with that though, but like yeah, I
No,
don't know.
no, REM is stage 4. That's just, yeah, that's, there's nothing inside REM sleep. It's just
Okay, okay. So
that's
it's a stage. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's the
Okay,
stage
okay,
itself.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about circadian rhythms
Mhm.
because that's also very important. So circadian rhythms are 24-hour cycles that are a part of our body's internal clock, running in the background to carry out essential functions and processes. One of the most important and well-known circadian rhythms is the sleep-wake cycle. So when properly aligned, our circadian rhythm can promote consistent and restorative sleep. But when it's thrown off, it can create significant sleeping problems, including insomnia. So during the day, light exposure causes our body clock to send signals that generate alertness and help us keep awake and active. But as night falls, our body initiates the production of melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, and then keeps transmitting signals that help us stay asleep through the night. In this way, our circadian rhythm aligns to our sleep and wakefulness with day and night to create a stable cycle of restorative rest that enables increased daytime activity. So, when our circadian rhythm is thrown off, it can give rise to serious sleeping problems. So, without the proper signaling from our body's internal clock, a person can struggle to fall asleep, stay asleep, wake during the night, or be unable to sleep as long as they want in the morning. And the total sleep time can also be reduced. And it can also mean shallower, fragmented, and lower quality sleep. And in addition, studies have identified circadian rhythm disruptions as potential contributors to sleep apnea. So you're probably wondering how we can maintain a circadian rhythm. Well, we don't really have full control over it, but we can improve it with sleep hygiene to better train our 24-hour sleep-wake cycle, and I'll get to them shortly. So these steps to improve our sleep hygiene can be an important part of supporting a healthy circadian rhythm, but other steps may be necessary depending on your situation. So if you have persistent or severe sleeping problems, daytime drowsiness, and or a problematic sleep schedule, it's important to talk to your doctor who can best diagnose and cause and offer the most appropriate treatment. So one of the things you can do if you're looking to improve your sleep hygiene is to examine your daily routine. So how can you do this? So there's a bunch of things you can consider. So you want to consider on average, how many hours of sleep do you get per night? And do you wake up feeling well rested? Or do you wake up frequently during the night? And if so, how often? And do you tend to wake around the same time each night? Do you nap during the day? Do you need an afternoon coffee every day to beat the slump? Or do you have more than one alcoholic beverage a day? Do you eat dinner after 8 p.m.? Do you work out? Do you generally go to bed and wake up at the same time each day? So taking note of these behaviors, identifying them now will help you on your journey to a better sleep. One of the other things you can do is keep a sleep diary. And you'll want to know what you were doing before you went to bed, what time you went to bed, when you woke up, and if you woke during the night, how long it took you to fall back asleep, and then the time you spent, if any, napping during the day. So that's your daily routine that you can kind of use, figure out if you need to improve your sleep hygiene. So I'll stop here. Are there any questions so far?
All good, all good.
Oh, good. Okay. So now I want to go into some habits. So first, I'll talk about habits that cause low quality sleep. So one thing is an irregular sleep schedule. So our bodies like routine, and varying your sleep routine can hinder your body's ability to adjust to a stable circadian rhythm. So if you start to go to bed at the same time every night, your body will learn that it's time to sleep. It's the same with waking. You may even get to a point where you can wake each day without an alarm. So I get asked this a lot: how much sleep should you get? Well, the National Sleep Foundation recommends that adults up to 64 years old sleep for 7 to 9 hours per night. And once you're 65, you need between 7 and 8 hours per night. And if you like to nap during the day, keep them short and early in the afternoon. Late and long naps can push back your bedtime routine and throw off your sleep schedule. Another habit that causes low quality sleep is drinking caffeine after noon. So I'm going to get a little sciencey again, but caffeine blocks a brain chemical called adenosine that helps you sleep. So adenosine is one of the body's more powerful molecules and is linked to the digestion process. So when the body runs out of fuel in the form of easily digestible sugars from the food we eat, adenosine signals the body to become drowsy, which essentially tells us to sleep and rebuild our energy reserves. So it's a critical chain reaction that initiates the early stages of non-REM sleep, and it's essential to our natural sleep cycle. So caffeine is considered an adenosine blocker. So it comes into play by attaching itself to the same receptors that adenosine would normally latch onto. In turn, it prevents the drowsiness that occurs as levels of adenosine in the body increase. So when you drink caffeine, it can stay in your system for up to 7 to 12 hours. So having that late in the day caffeine boost can force your body to remain awake when it should be winding down. So to avoid this, you want to stop caffeine consumption anytime after noon. Another habit, drinking alcohol. So you may think alcohol helps you sleep, and it certainly can make you fall asleep faster. But what it does is it reduces the amount of REM sleep, which we know is very important. Disruptions in REM will cause daytime drowsiness and poor concentration. So it may also cause you to wake in the middle of the night when your liver is trying to process this toxin. So according to Chinese medicine, the liver detoxes between 1 and 3 a.m. So if you find yourself waking between these hours after a night of drinking, you can bet alcohol is the culprit. And then last but not least, stress. So under stressful circumstances, our adrenal glands release cortisol, which is our stress hormone, in preparation to fight, freeze, or run. So back in the day, this was useful when woolly mammoths were chasing us. But today, we may not face woolly mammoths, but our bodies don't know the difference between a woolly mammoth and a work deadline. So when we're stressed, our cortisol increases. And cortisol and melatonin are in an inverse relationship. So when cortisol is high, melatonin is low. Okay, so those are habits that cause low quality sleep. So now I'll talk a little bit about things you can do to promote a good quality sleep or high quality sleep. Okay, so number one is get regular exposure to sunlight. So light plays a central role in regulating our circadian rhythm and the production of melatonin. So the way light alters circadian rhythm depends on the timing of the light exposure. So when light is perceived early in the morning, it pushes our sleep schedule earlier. And light exposure in the evening pushes our sleep cycle backward towards a later bedtime. So if you want to start to go to bed earlier, you can try to get exposure to sunlight as soon as you wake up in the morning. Another habit, exercise, so important. So what it does is it increases the amount of time you spend in deep sleep, which we know is our most restorative stage. In addition, it can help you increase the duration of your nightly rest. because being physically active requires you to expend energy and helps you feel more tired and ready to rest at the end of the day. And research indicates that regular exercise can help boost sleep duration in addition to sleep quality. Moderate to vigorous exercise can increase sleep quality by reducing the time it takes to fall asleep and decrease the amount of time you lie awake in bed during the night. It also helps alleviate daytime sleepiness and, for some people, reduce the need for sleep medications. And it also provides stress relief, which is strongly associated with sleep troubles. So when you exercise, your brain releases endorphins, which give you that post exercise high, boosting your mood while reducing stress. Uh, Stress is another one. You want to reduce stress, and you can reduce stress by doing deep breathing, mindfulness, and meditation activities, because these bring out a relaxed state of mind conducive to falling asleep. So, at a biological level, these activities slow down the heart rate and lower levels of cortisol while increasing our natural melatonin levels, promoting a more restful sleep. Okay, another habit, power down hour. At least 1 hour before bed, turn off your computer, TV, and phone to reduce the blue light, which is known to suppress melatonin levels and impact our circadian rhythm. So we get most exposure to blue light from the sun. And blue light stimulates parts of the brain that makes us feel alert, elevating our heart rate, which is what we don't want when we're trying to sleep. And not only does the power down hour reduce exposure to the blue light, it also reduces exposure to emails, text, videos, and social media posts that can stress you out or amp you up. Another thing you can try is listening to sleep stories. They're literally so boring, they make you fall asleep. So you can find sleep stories on apps like Breathe or Calm. You can probably find them on the internet, on YouTube. Uh, you can also try hypnotherapy, which is one of my favorites. So hypnotherapy can focus a person's attention in a way that allows them to receive suggestions that can positively change their behaviors. In one study, a suggestion to sleep deeper during hypnosis prompted increased deep sleep. You can also listen to relaxing music or white noise. So why this works is because a change in sound consistency from soft to loud can be strong enough to interrupt your sleep. So listening to that white noise or relaxing music fills the room with a blanket of sound that can mask those inconsistent noises. And studies also suggest that white noise can reduce the time it takes to fall asleep. You can try a brain dump. So take a few minutes to write out a list of whatever's bugging you and get it onto paper, get it out of your mind. And what this does is it relieves the burden on your brain, hastening sleep. You can also try taking a hot salt or aromatherapy bath, or you can try just putting a hot compress on your stomach. So what this does is raising your body temperature before bed helps induce sleep because it raises your core temperature. You can also try keeping your room cool and dark. So the optimal temperature for sleep is between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. And a dark room keeps your circadian rhythm in check. Okay? So if you've gotten yourself to sleep with using some of these habits, what happens if you wake during the night? So there are things you can do if you wake. So one thing you can try is a mind-body scan. So to do this, you start at the top of your head and slowly go down to your toes. And notice all of the physical sensations, hot, cold, itchy, tense. And you want to observe these and not judge. And you can ask yourself the following questions. What am I feeling physically? What am I feeling emotionally? Or what am I thinking about? And you can write down anything that's bothered you. So this is a good time to do a brain dump. You can also try any of the activities I previously mentioned, like sleep stories, hypnotherapy, but definitely avoid electronics. And if you find you're still awake after about 20 minutes, get out of bed and do something quiet and unexciting. So you can listen to soothing music or read something you've read before. You can also try performing deep breathing, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, or stretching. But whatever you do, keep the lights dim. You want to use night lights where possible. And then last but not least, I must talk about nutrition. There are certain foods that interfere with sleep. including high sugar, high carbohydrate, and heavily processed foods. Eating sugary foods throughout the day can cause pronounced changes in your blood sugar, bringing feelings of fatigue that can alter your daily routine and sleep patterns at night. And large meals high in carbohydrates can have a similar effect on your blood sugar. Now, there are foods you can that are good for promoting good quality sleep. So you can add foods that are rich in melatonin to your diet. So this includes things like seeds, chicken, turkey, fish, cheese, beans, lentils, and eggs. And what happens is they increase the tryptophan in your diet. And if you know what tryptophan is, like it's associated with turkey, it's essential to the production of melatonin. And almonds and walnuts also contain melatonin. Certain fruits contain melatonin. And they can help you fall asleep faster and wake up less often during the night. For instance, tart cherry juice or whole tart cherries contain a lot of melatonin, as well as bananas, pineapple, and oranges are also good sources. And if you have insomnia, eating 2 kiwis before bed may increase your sleep duration by an hour if done over the course of a month. You can also eat foods high in magnesium, like avocados, organic yogurt, and leafy greens. So stats do show that approximately 48% of Americans are low in magnesium. You can also check to see if you have any food sensitivities or food intolerances, because what happens if you end up eating food that you're intolerant to, digesting your food, your body may have trouble digesting it, and it may cause inflammation and impede sleep. And then one last but not least, stop eating 3 hours before your bedtime. It's definitely best to avoid any large meals close to bedtime, because being too full at bedtime can interfere with falling asleep and disrupt sleep quality through the night as your body works to digest that food. And eating also raises both your insulin and cortisol levels. So if you do eat before bed and manage to get to sleep, deep sleep and REM sleep will be more difficult to come by, and the quality and duration of your sleep will suffer. That being said, an empty, rumbling stomach can be distracting and make it more difficult to fall asleep. So if you must eat before bed, a light snack with protein, like a small piece of turkey or chicken or pumpkin seeds, is a good choice. And you also want to consider stopping liquid intake 3 hours before bed, which will help you avoid waking up for bathroom breaks. Okay, I tried to get through everything. Those are my habits. Do you have any questions?
Okay, I just had one question. So, when you told about the sugary foods, so I was just wondering, so like what's the even, if you want to have those foods, what's the best time to have them? I mean, is it like when should I avoid them rather? Like that's a better question.
Um, well, if you must have them earlier in the day, like don't just follow the rule. Don't eat 3 hours before bed, but try. You don't want to get on that blood sugar roller coaster either, because that'll just start. Your insulin levels and everything will just start going up and down, and that will affect your other levels of melatonin and cortisol and stuff. So that's what I would suggest. I mean, it'll be different for everybody. Some people can actually eat that stuff and be fine, and they're not affected. But yeah, and as a nutrition coach, I always say try to eat whole foods, living foods. That's the best thing you can do for your body overall.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But in moderation, you're allowed to have sugar and stuff. I mean, I drink my wine. I like my wine, so.
Also, I had another question. So, just like I think this morning, I was wondering. So, I think there's a lot of confusion about can you have fruits in the morning? Like, when you're empty stomach in the morning, and sometimes I'm like, just leaving, and I'm like, like let's just grab an apple or like something, or like maybe a peach, or I don't know, like something grab and go kind of thing. Yeah.
You
So I was,
can.
yeah.
You can. And again, it depends on the person, but I find I can't have a fruit without a protein with it. Because for me, if I eat fruit alone, I will be starving in about an hour. And I think, again, it goes back to that blood sugar roller coaster, because even though it's a natural sugar, it's still spiking your sugar level. So if you have a little bit of protein, so for me, every morning I have an apple with a nut butter, and that gives me the protein and the fat along with the carbohydrate.
Mhm.
So, yeah. I know it's a little
Also,
harder.
yeah, yeah, I know. Is it okay to have like say like fruits containing vitamin C like empty stomach in the morning? Is it fine? Because like I'm
Yeah,
generally grabbing
it
on
should
those.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But if you find, I mean, again, it depends. Some people can't, but some people can. And if it works for you, yeah. But I would try to say, just to avoid the roller coaster, even if it's a grab and go, if you want a piece of fruit, try to grab some nuts or something with it that you
okay.
can grab and just have with it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Somebody told me like nuts like make you feel full for long. Is it yeah, is it
Yeah,
true?
because they have protein and they have fat, and fat and protein really keeps you more satisfied. Yeah, than a sugar, than a carbohydrate.
That's
Yeah,
excellent to know. Lovely. Thank you so much. Helps
yeah,
me a lot.
yeah.
That's like a everyday question for me. So yeah, that's yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do we have any other questions right now?
No, we are good. I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so this was amazing. Thank you, Megan, for giving us this information. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I am definitely gonna use that in my day-to-day lives for sure. And yes, and see you soon next time.
Okay.
And yeah, and see you guys all next week as well. So in next week we have hypnotherapy and French learning. So see you guys there and have a good day. If you want to reach out to us, you can leave a comment on YouTube, or you can also reach out to us to on our website. Everything would be there in the comments. Okay, see you guys soon. Bye bye now.
Bye.